Welcome to the Practice Drawing This podcast designed to listen to while drawing. In this episode, I'm going to explain how I practice drawing boxes and why you should consider doing the same thing. It's often you will see people around you or on the internet that are doing the things like the 250 box challenge or even a 500 box challenge. And the idea is that you draw lots of boxes, draw a lot of boxes on a page from different directions and just keep drawing and keep drawing. There are two disadvantages to that approach. One is if you do that, if you keep doing that, you just burn out. It just becomes a slog and it just feels, at a certain stage you don't feel like drawing anymore. So that is one reason why you should not do it. Another reason is that you don't actually kind of improve because you are not checking your boxes. Basically, if you keep drawing the boxes wrong, you will keep doing them wrong. You won't improve. It's if you don't notice what is wrong with the boxes, they will keep doing them wrong. So one solution for that is to verify. So that the idea behind that is that you check if the boxes are correct, and there are again two ways of doing that. One is you take a ruler and you draw the lines of the ribs of the box, you extend them and you find the points where the ribs intersect. And all the ribs, there should be at most 3 vanishing points, and the ribs that point in the same direction should all meet in the same vanishing point. That's a typical mistake you'll make, is that you will have several ribs that should be converging to the same point, that they are going to a different point. So that is one. And then you can also, then if you have these 2 points of 2 vanishing points or a third one, you will be able to draw a line through them, and that gives you a horizon. One example problem also is that you typically in the beginning you put the vanishing points too close to each other because you want to fit them on a page, and then the perspective is much too strong. It's like you're looking at it with a wide angle lens. In reality, if you draw a box, almost always at least one of the vanishing points will not be on the page. Typically 2 of the 3 vanishing points will not be on the page. And that's one way to find out if you have the ribs converging to the right point and if the vanishing points are not too close. Another thing you can do is use the 3D box on the Practice Drawing This website. You can rotate that box and then you can draw that and from observation. And what you can then do is there is a special button that moves you to the AR Drawing Tutor, which is a little app inside that will show the feed of your mobile or device camera. And what you can do is then point your camera at your drawing, and it will transparently overlay the reference image, in this case the box. So you can position the camera and overlay it over your drawing, and then you can check how well you did with that drawing. So that's another way to check, and one advantage of that approach is that you discover your biases. Basically, you will discover what you typically get wrong. You can do this for example, with a box. Maybe you find that the ribs that you draw them too shallow or too steep. That's one thing you will find out that way. Another thing, you can also use that tool for many other types of references. For example, I know someone who always draws heads too big. That's something you find out if you then put project the reference over your drawing with that camera tool, which is free, by the way. But for example, I know, because I measured it, that I always draw lower legs too short. So when I draw a lower leg, I remember, I have to make it longer than I think, because I will typically, if I follow my instinct, I will draw them too short. So that's one really important advantage. Is how you improve. Is by finding your biases, by finding where you do things typically wrong. And what you can do is draw something from observation and then use that camera tool to project a reference over your drawing to see what your typical biases are, so that in the next drawing you can take that into account. So Another cool thing that's on the website is called the perspective game, and what it does is it shows a box on the screen, but at least one point is off, and you are to drag the red point to the place where it makes the box correct again, and then you can press on a button to check if you got it right, and you can repeat it, you can change the box, and that's a great way to discover, to measure whether your instincts for perspective are right. And you can just do it on your mobile phone, you can do it while you're waiting for a bus, etc. So it's a pretty cool tool, and you will be surprised if you practice for a while how well you are at positioning that red dot in the right place. Another thing on the website is what I call Gridspective. It's a perspective grid, and it allows you to draw lines that follow the perspective grid. Each time two lines cross, it will put a dot there and basically split the lines in two, and then you can remove the lines that are overshooting. And with that you can draw boxes, and you can add boxes and subtract boxes, and generally start to get a feel for what it means to draw with a perspective grid without having to go through the cumbersome thing of having to grab a ruler and draw a perspective grid with one vanishing point way off the page. This tool draws the perspective grid for you, and you can just drag the mouse and place lines there and play with the perspective thing. So we already discussed how you can use reference by drawing it from observation, then measuring whether you got it right or wrong, angles, proportions. And that is a great way to find your own biases. But I do want to point out that we are artists, and there is such a thing as creative license. You are allowed to deviate from the reference. In fact, that is what makes art usually more interesting. If it deviates from the real reference, then from that moment on, the artist is starting to say something about it, and that makes it infinitely more interesting. Examples are also, you can make a perfect copy of a box, but it becomes more interesting if you can also deform boxes. I will discuss that later, but that's another thing you can do. You do not have to follow reference for the rest of your life, but it can be a useful exercise to draw it from observation and then measure to see how far off you were and then correct, and for that the AR drawing tool is a great tool. And now we come to another point, which is that there is a reason to practice drawing boxes. And that also shows you why the usual approach to just draw 250 random boxes or 500 random boxes is not necessarily a good idea. Because the reason we're practicing drawing boxes is so that because we can put things inside the box. And if you can draw a human or something else, a car, inside a box, if you are able to do that if the box is in any orientation, then all you have to do is rotate the box in space and then draw that human or car or whatever object inside that box, and that means you will be able to draw that thing from any angle. But and another thing you can do is create construct things from boxes. Many things around us, you can deconstruct them from primitive forms like boxes, spheres, cylinders, cones, pyramids, etc. And a box is an important primitive too that you can use. And if you can construct things from boxes, then you can, and the other primitives, then it becomes useful to be able to move and rotate that exact same primitive, so that you can move and rotate the whole thing and put it in a different place. So, and another thing is, it's as mentioned before, it's a good training for practicing perspective. But the main thing to remember is that it is useful because it's useful for specific objects to be able to move a specific object to another. For example, what you can see on my website, I have lots of examples there. I have 3D models, and I draw a box around these models so that you can see the boxes. There's even a puzzle mode that removes the 3D model, so you can just see the box. What you can do is first practice drawing that 3D model inside the box, and then you can practice drawing the same thing rotated. What you can also do is just put it in puzzle mode, rotate the box, draw the box, and then try to draw the object inside that box, and then switch off puzzle mode again, and then you can see what the statue or whatever 3D model actually looks like. And then you can use the AR drawing tool, the camera tool again, to verify how far off your drawing was from the real 3D model. Being able to rotate the you can first try that out with the box itself, of course. You switch to puzzle mode, you only see the box, you draw the box, and then you use the camera tool to check that you got the box right. And then you try to draw the object inside that box, and then you switch puzzle mode off, and you check it with the camera tool to see how far off you were. And that allows you, again, to observe, draw, measure, correct, and that will make you better and better at drawing that thing from different angles. For an easier version, I also have what we call extruded shapes. You take some arbitrary shape and then pull it into a third dimension. That also fits inside a box, and that's maybe a slightly easier 3D model to start with if you want to practice this. So you can start there. And because it is useful to draw the same box in different rotations and places, that's what this video is about. Don't just draw. First is measure to correct your box, but the second is try to draw the same box moved and rotated, because that will be useful if you're trying to draw other things. And for that, I also have 3D models. There's one model where the boxes only move through space. You can start by practicing that. And you can, of course, also, we have two models that allow you to practice just drawing one box rotated in space. And then we have other models where you have boxes that move and rotate through space. So there's one model where a box follows a line and it rotates as it follows the line. And there are models where a box rotates or swirls around a line, and those are, each time they are the same box but moved and rotated through space, and that allows you to practice drawing the same box moved and rotated through space, and that later on will allow you to practice drawing objects inside boxes in different orientations and different places in space. Now, as mentioned earlier, there's another thing you can do with boxes. You can deform them, you can stretch them, you can squeeze them, you can bend them, you can twist them, and that's typically useful. Animation students practice that a lot, but often you can deconstruct things from primitives, but often you also have to deform the primitives a bit to make them more useful for that specific reference. An example can be a torso. You can use a twisted box as a torso for a person who is running really fast. So that can be a very useful thing to practice too. And then again, that's where it gets to deviate from a normal box, because you don't have to draw perfect boxes. We're artists. You're supposed to express yourself. You can make really dynamic, lively boxes that jump around or whatever. So try to also become artistic about it. But one useful exercise is to really draw from observation and then measure and verify to make sure that you understand your own biases, so that if you deviate from observation, that it becomes an artistic choice, a creative choice. And so that concludes this video, and I hope you consider visiting the website, where I have lots of resources. All the resources mentioned in this video can be found here. And it's also a more fun way to practice drawing boxes, because you also eventually start drawing objects inside boxes, and then you start to draw things rotated from imagination, and that's just fun. Much more fun than just drawing 500 boxes without checking whether they are correct. Okay, thank you for listening, and hope you will listen next time too. Okay, bye-bye.